Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. There's a lot of talk lately about if Vice President Kamala Harris could one day be President Kamala Harris. And now one of the most powerful Democrats in the party isn't too sure that Kamala is the future.
I see her as a part of that future, absolutely. She could very well be. I think she is running a very good campaign, and I look to her as a successor to this president. But I also know the history of that as well. It's not a given. You don't automatically move up. She'll have to compete going forward with whoever may have dreams and aspirations, and I think she will acquit herself well.
I mean, David, if that's not a hedge, I don't know if I've heard one. He danced around that question. You know, Kamala Harris is the most unpopular vice president in history. Why do you think she's so unpopular, and what do you make of what you just heard?
Because Jim Clyburn, remember, this is the Democrat black superdelegate for the black community. Obama, Biden, everyone else who wants to run for anything knows something that most people won't admit publicly, but I'll tell you what it is. He knows that she is just not smart enough for the job. And he needs someone to keep his legacy going as being the Democrat power player. But I want to go to something specific that he said. She'll have to compete going forward with whoever may have dreams and aspirations. So let me get this straight. The Democrat black superdelegate who makes the decisions on the black vote for the Democrat Party, if they have their way, is now saying it's a meritocracy? I mean, this isn't hedging his bet. Jim Clyburn's just spinning some Georgia mud pie, and I'm going to be nice and call it that. And by the way, Jim, Eddie Slaughter and the black farmers in Georgia and other states, still waiting for you to help them with the USDA lawsuit. Just throwing that out there.
All right. Well, you know, and then, you know, and Clyburn's got a lot of power. I mean, this guy single-handedly got Joe Biden elected in 2020 in the Democrat primary. All right. So I want to read, Tom, let's get to this op-ed in the Washington Post. Here's what it says. It says, there's a simple answer to questions about Biden's age. Why won't Democrats say it? It goes on to say, why are Democratic officials already being straightforward about the potential of a President Harris? They probably think some swing voters in Michigan and Wisconsin would back Trump over Biden if the incumbent signaled Harris could be taking over in a year or two. I'm going to spend the run-up to 2024 election being honest. Biden is a solid president, but not indispensable. Neither he nor Harris is transformative leader like the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Harris might end up in the job because Biden is so old. You know, Tom, there's a lot of talk about, you know, Biden's age, if he'll drop out. How big of a role do you think Kamala Harris being the VP plays in, you know, maybe Joe Biden staying in this thing?
Well, I mean, I don't think, obviously, people don't like her, all right? But Biden's got his own troubles. And I think the Democratic Party really doesn't know what to do. They know they got Gavin Newsom waiting in the wings. He would love to, you know, to swoop in. But at this point, Joe Biden says, no, I'm running. So they can't loom over him, you know? And everyone knows he might not make it that long. I mean, they say that about any president who's running for re-election and is old. And he's like, he's the oldest. And he looks it. I mean, and he acts it and he sounds it. So they're in trouble. I don't think they know what to do about it. All they know is they can't tout her as a viable replacement because they know nobody likes her.
Nobody likes her. Yeah, Joe Biden's not a spring chicken. I've not heard anyone make, you know, the guy's old. But, you know, Anita, and there's also, you know, a lot of different names being thrown around. Let's listen to something that Senator Ted Cruz said and what he put out there.
Here's the scenario that I think is perhaps most likely and most dangerous. In August of 2024, the Democrat kingmakers jettison Joe Biden and parachute in Michelle Obama. I view this as a very serious danger. So Michelle Obama, number one, you don't infuriate African-American women, which is a critical part of the constituency that Democrats are relying on to win.
Now, he's not the only person to throw her name around. I mean, what do you think? How plausible is this?
Well, I don't know, but I have also heard it from other people. I mean, her name is definitely out there. Now, she has said she has no interest in running. But, you know, we've heard people say that before and quickly change their minds. But can you imagine? I mean, Michelle Obama is so popular, going from the most unpopular vice president to someone with Michelle Obama's popularity. I mean, there are some polls out there that are polling 31% of voters have a positive view of Kamala Harris. That's a low number. Now, that interview on NBC with James Clyburn, it went on. And in that interview, he said those low poll numbers were because she is a woman of color and she's the first female vice president. Okay, Michelle Obama is a woman of color. So what does he have to say about her popularity?
Okay.
David's laughing. So we
No, I'm not laughing at Anita.
No,
by the
no,
way.
no, of course
I'm
not.
laughing
But
at the idiosyncrasies or the stupidity in this. First of all, whoever's polling Michelle Obama is that popular, better go start asking some black people, and I don't care whether they're left or right, because they see her as the one who got paid and went to Martha's Vineyard and doesn't represent them. That's just the way it is. So you've got a difference between a word salad and Hillary Clinton just looks a little bit differently, who is an unlikable person. Democrats are in trouble. Strategically, I could see them trying to Michelle Obama, maybe Gavin Newsom as the soy boy, white put-in vice president. What would you do with Kamala Harris then? Where do you send her?
I agree with David. The reason she's popular when they ask these questions, because she's not running. Once she started running, they would go down.
All right, well, we'll leave that. Well, we know Gavin Newsom's measuring the drapes. So.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.